Welcome,
Welcome,
Housewives of True Crime.
Housewives.
How's it goes? It's Margot and Tab time.
Hey, everyone. By the time you guys see this, Karen Reed will be over. So I feel like I'll have my
Oh,
life back. What about you?
totally. Today, we're recording a little bit early, and today the defense rested. And I mean, I see the light, like I really see the light now at the end of the tunnel
Mm-hmm.
because on Friday they're going to have closing arguments that are going to be 2.5 hours max, and that's it. We get to know what we know, and
Mm-hmm.
and if you missed it, go to the alternate where you can just listen to all 32 episodes to figure it all out.
Yes. And we've made strides on the show, right? We're always like looking at all the goals that we've been hitting, and we hit 100,000 downloads. So that was really exciting for a brand new podcast. And so I'm like super stoked about that. I think it hasn't hit me yet. I'm like, but that's kind of
I
cool, you
know
know?
it's really cool. So maybe we'll win an award at CrimeCon. that's,
Oh, well, I mean, I'm
that's
sure
my goal.
Court TV and Law and Crime Network, they'll be
Yeah,
there too. So they'll be like, well, we've been doing this forever. So,
I
um,
know.
but yeah,
Uh,
that is going on right now. And then you're going to do a Lori Vallow review, which I can't wait.
That will be out by the time this airs also. And then
Hmm.
maybe Diddy will be wrapping up. So there's a lot going on. But girl, oh my God, I got to tell you a little bit about CrimeCon. What
Oh,
happened to me?
yes. So CrimeCon UK. Yes. Tell me all about it.
Okay, so I stayed at a hotel. So CrimeCon in the United States is at a hotel, but in London, it's not at a hotel. It's at like a conference center.
Oh,
And so people stay at hotels all around there, not at one central location. And then in the United States, they have the parties are at the hotel, right? So you kind of don't have to even leave.
at the bar area, right? Usually.
Yeah. And remember when we were in Orlando, I don't even think I saw outside except for by the pool the whole time
Oh,
that we were
right.
there.
Yeah. Because because I stayed in Orlando as well. My mom took the car because she took the kids back. And yeah, no, we didn't. We just stayed in there the whole time. It was kind of like Vegas. Did you go to
Yeah.
Vegas? CrimeCon Vegas?
No, I didn't.
That
I
you
missed that
really
one.
don't see the outside because it's Vegas. Like, you know how they do all the lights and
Yeah.
stuff to make it so that you never want to leave. So,
Yeah. So, anyway, so I stayed in a hotel. I didn't know there was no other podcasters at this hotel that I stayed at, but I have
oh,
points. And so that's what I stayed. I stayed there.
oh, okay.
And at one point, I walked to my hotel to drop some stuff off before the party. And oh, by the way, the parties are at pubs around London. So I dropped stuff off and then I was going to go to the pub. But in my hotel, they were having this event. And so I decided, I was like, yeah, I'm going to see what this event's all about.
Mhm.
And I met one of the guys that was working for the hotel. Like he was a contractor. And he was telling me about his situation and giving me some like freebies, right?
Okay.
And
Like situation, you mean like life?
yes, like he's telling
Okay.
me about his life. Like he bought a
Okay.
house and he has a girlfriend. And I was
Oh.
like, oh, cool. I'm like here for a conference, just chatting it up.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh, does your girlfriend like true crime? I'll bring her a sticker. So I come down and I give him a sticker. And at the time he like grabs my arm and he was like, hey, it's my birthday tomorrow. And I would really like it if you came with me to whatever place in London. I can't even remember where he said. And I was like,
No.
no. Like you did. And then I just was like, I'm such an idiot. Like I made a mistake by even just saying I was there. I don't know if I said I was by myself, but I think
Mm.
you could kind of tell I was by myself,
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
so did not have a comfortable feeling after that. Right. I was like, I'm here for work, went on my way. Like I jetted out of there.
Uh-huh.
And then when I came back late night, like 1 o'clock in the morning to my hotel room, there is an envelope in my room with no name on it and like just my room number. And I
Okay.
opened it up and shoot, I wish I had it to show you right now. And he had made me, this guy somehow put this in my room. He had made me these engraved things with Housewives logo on it. Like not the sticker that I gave him, like full on Housewives logo.
What were the things, first of all? But what?
Like, they were like tchotchkes.
So, like we're always really like super like careful, right? So we kind of think he's a freak, but he was probably just maybe trying to be nice. But yes, I can see where that's, especially because it's in your room.
Okay, so I think he was probably trying to be nice, but I am so hyper aware of this stuff, and it gave me the full on creeps, by the way.
Remember when I texted you, I was like, hey, are you sharing your location with your husband? I was like, because you're like overseas, like by yourself. Like that was like scary.
I know. And then that happened. And then I'm like, okay, I'm never doing that again. Oh, I called the manager and I was like, how did this get in my room? How did he know my room number? It doesn't have my name on it. And the manager even was like, who are you here with? And I was like, my husband. And he's like, is your husband here right now? I was like, no, he's not here right now, but he is coming. Like he'll be here in 5 minutes.
Why were they asking these weird questions?
I don't know. It did not feel right. It did not give me a good feeling. I mean, nothing happened. I barricaded my door. I did the hanger trick. I was like totally nuts.
Yes. Have you been seeing those trends on like,
yes, I did it
where
all.
they're like all the things that you do when you go into a hotel room by yourself. Yes. I'm like, oh my God, it sucks to be a woman. You have to like think about all these things.
I know. So true. So holy moly, guacamole. Okay. So real quick, because I want you to, Margot was just telling me about a case she's doing, and it is bananas, and it's going on right now, and you guys are probably following it. So
yeah,
it's involving kids. So, if you don't want to hear about kids, then don't go there. But it is an active case, and it's a military case. But tell a little bit about what happened.
Yeah. So we're recording this, what is it, like 2 weeks into June. But the story this story broke about almost 2 weeks ago, but now it's like just getting heated. So in Washington State, there is a man named Travis Decker, and he was previously married, father of 3. He was active duty Army for several years. And then in 2021, he transitioned to the Guard. Well, about a year ago, he stopped showing up for his mandatory Guard duty, and they were in the process of trying to separate him from the Guard. Him and his wife got divorced. They have the 3 daughters, and the girls were able to stay with him overnight for several, years or whatever. But about a year and a half ago, he became unhoused. So the ex-wife, she petitioned the court to basically say like, hey, he doesn't have like a place to stay. So can we switch it so that the girls don't have overnights? Okay, perfect. That's what the court said. They said he would get them on every other weekend, and they would go with him for 3 hours, like a day, like on a Friday. They met somewhere to exchange the kids, and he was supposed to have the girls home by like 8:00 at night. And when 8:00 came, the girls didn't show up. And the wife, the mom, she's calling the ex-husband, and he's not answering. And then, that this is like the worst feeling when the phone call goes straight to voicemail.
Oh, I hate that.
And she immediately knew. And the thing is that he had never been late before or anything like that, with dropping off the kids. So just right away, she got like this gut feeling, and she calls 911, 9:45 PM. She calls 911. What do you think that they would do at this point if they have missing kids? It's kind of like what we always think would happen. An Amber Alert.
Yeah. Yeah. Did they?
No. They didn't. Do you know why?
Because it was a dad and he was supposed to have them, or what?
Well, there's like these strict criteria, and one of them is that the child has to be in imminent danger. And so they said that because the dad had never just not showed up, that there was probably a reason for this, and that they did not feel that the girls were in imminent danger. So it didn't meet the strict requirements for an Amber Alert. They didn't do an Amber Alert. And let me just cut straight to I did cover this on my podcast.
Yeah,
Military
so go
Murders,
to Military Murder.
So go there. But, just to tell you what happened, the girls were found 3 days later on Monday in a campground with his car, and they were deceased. He allegedly murdered them, and he is now on the run. Like,
Yeah,
no kidding. From May 30th, when the girls went missing, they were found on June 2nd. And until today, June 11th, he is literally gone with the wind. And he had done research. He had done Google searches because they were able to get his Google search history. And he was looking to get into Canada. He was looking at like how to get into Canada, how to find jobs in Canada, and everything else. And by the way, he had a Ranger tab in the Army. And so I was listening recently to someone talk about how like they do this training where for however many days, 10, 14 days, they only have 7 items and they basically have to live off of the land. And this guy has actually lived in the woods for 2.5 months at a time, like these little stints. I read the arrest warrant and that was in there. So this guy could be out there. And yesterday they said, oh, that someone saw him and they're getting close to him. But then today they did a press conference and they still haven't got him. And so I'm like so annoyed.
Oh, I mean, I hope they find him. I hope by the time that this comes out, they find him. But I think he is one of those guys that could probably be living off the grid for God knows how long. And now what if he's in Canada? Who's gonna go looking for him?
No, it's crazy. And you feel for the mom. And then the mom is like, so, I mean, we only hear from her through her attorney. But she just has like a heart of gold in that she basically says like, I don't blame him. He does have some mental health issues, like a bipolar disorder, and he wasn't on his medication. But she basically says like straight up, like if they would have done an Amber Alert on Friday night, they might have caught him before he did this to my children. Because remember, they were in a car, and in an Amber Alert, there has to be a vehicle involved.
Right. Yes.
And the thing is that when they actually, the location where the girls were found was about 155 miles from where they lived. So if you think about it, that's about a 3-hour drive. So he would have been in like driving towards that location, or maybe someone would have seen him if they would have put that big Amber Alert, especially on the highways. But also,
couldn't they have like pinged his phone and found out where he was before he turned off the phone?
They could have, and
they could have at least maybe found out like last known locations before the phone went off.
Well, they would have to, in theory, in that moment, they would have to have probable cause.
That's true.
I mean, and they did have probable cause, but they were just under the impression like, hey, this is just a custodial parent issue, and we can't, I don't know. It's really frustrating when you think about it. The poor mom.
Oh, it's awful. So go to military murder if you want to hear that. Oh my God. But I know, it's revolving a kid, and crazy enough. And so I'm just going to like first tell you that this case is also involving children. Nobody gets hurt in this case. But it does have, it's such an off the wall case for me to do, but my girlfriend Bree really wanted me to do it. And so I was like, okay, I'll do it. It's not one that I normally would do, but, and you guys will see, but no one gets hurt. No one is hurt. Everybody's A-okay. It's just, and maybe some people will think it's not even a crime.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah. Well, way different than the case I just told you about. But yeah,
I
had a headache today thinking about it. When I recorded it yesterday, and I was editing today, and I had like a headache because, I'm a mom of 3 girls, and whether you're a mom of girls or a mom of boys or a mom of mix, it's just their ages just got me.
No, I know. I don't even know how you do it, girl, because I cry when I'm doing adults. I'm crying when I'm doing adults that actually survive. So,
no, this case is wild, but yeah.
Okay, so let's get into this case. All right, today's episode takes place in the Netherlands. So I am taking you outside of America. And most people know the Netherlands for Amsterdam. Are you familiar? Have you been?
I have been. I'm not sure if you knew this, but I lived in Germany for a while with the military. And so my friend and I actually headed to the Netherlands. We stayed there.
Red light district. Yeah. Did you go there?
No, I think we ended up walking through it. But we were kind of freaked out because we ended up staying at an Airbnb where you could just tell that they had been smoking pot like the entire, like since they started the Airbnb, and my friend and I, we were active duty military, and we were just kind of like freaked out. We were such, we were just like, oh my gosh, like it's gonna like go into our skin. We were just freaking out.
Yeah.
Total
so
nerds.
and if you don't know, it's really like, I went there back in like the early 2000s, but it's the place where like drugs are flowing and you think like women are wild and free, and it's a party town. I loved it when I went, because did you ride bikes there? Like people are biking everywhere. There's canals. It's actually so beautiful and charming
and peaceful.
It is. It doesn't seem like it from the outside when you hear about it, but it really is. All right. So something people may not realize is that the Netherlands is one of the most densely populated countries in the entire world, with over 17 million people living inside its borders. To give you a size comparison, the closest state in the U.S. with a population of that size is New York, with 19.8 million people. However, New York State has 3 times the landmass. So, they're packed in there in the Netherlands.
I didn't know that.
Yes. And that brings us to today's episode that has a lot to do also with population.
Okay.
It also has to do with conceiving children through conventional and non-conventional ways. Think like IVF, IUI, or just, having sex with your donor dude.
Okay.
Did you ever have to deal with any fertility issues?
No, I didn't.
Neither did I. Lucky us. We all know people that have, I'm sure you know people that have.
I have a friend right now who's going through that, and it sucks.
Dude, it sucks. It really, really sucks. So there's a couple ways. There's like IUI, there's IVF, which is like where the sperm and egg kind of have to meet. And honestly, I didn't even know this, but it's 50 years old. The first IVF person born was, almost 50, okay, was born in 1978.
Oh, I didn't know it was that long.
Yeah, me neither.
But you probably have to have a lot of money to do it now, is what I hear. But I bet you it costs like an arm and a leg back in the day.
Oh, could you imagine? But that's the thing. I think over in other countries, it's not as expensive as it is here.
Okay.
Here, they make you pay out of pocket. I don't think that insurance really covers it. Or if they do, it's like so minimal. I know my girlfriend that was doing it before, she had, it was like, I don't know, 30 grand or something.
Oh, wow. Well, I don't know if you have any friends, but I have a friend who is probably in her late 30s now, or kind of aging up there. No, she's definitely in her late 30s. And she has no prospects as of a year or two ago. And she decided to get her eggs frozen. So that was a thing. And she was telling me how much that costs. Like she didn't only have to pay for the retrieval, but then she has to pay for the storage.
Yeah. It's a business.
It's like
it's a business. And fertility clinics actually have sprung up everywhere globally, helping couples, both heterosexual and gay, and individual women who require sperm to be able to conceive their baby. Now, donors could be their own spouse, or it could be a friend, or commonly it just comes from an anonymous donor. And I've actually known a few of those too. These anonymous donors come from all walks of life and go to these clinics to provide their donations that are commonly frozen inside little tiny straws, and then they're cataloged in a database. The database is anonymous, and it contains a biography, a physical description of the person, and medical or genetic history of the donor. This allows, you to make a choice from a list of men who fit.
Who's writing these bios, though? Like, did you ever stop to think, like, how truthful are these guys?
It's them writing these bios. I 100% think that, they probably give themselves like a little bit of inches, and they probably all have college degrees. No.
I was just about to say how many PhDs or whatever are on these, kind of like little bios. That is hilarious.
It's actually a massive industry, which I also find is so crazy. Like, who is like, yeah, today I'm going to go spurt some out for you, like.
Yeah, well, I bet you it's a lot of college students. I wonder.
But it could be anybody. Shoot, yes. I don't know.
Could be somebody who just needs some money. But I can just think of college students because I'm not sure when you were in college, but when I was in college, the plasma donation was a big deal.
Yeah.
Remember, you get like $200 a week to do it. And I had friends who would do it and they were always like weak.
Oh, yeah.
The knees.
Because they like, you give the, I remember my friends would always do that. I was too nervous. I was like, I don't know. Like you give so
I did it once and never again. I got sick. And I mean, I don't know if I got sick from that, but it was just not a good feeling.
But if you do it, if you donate blood, you are a good human. So please do that.
Oh, yeah. Donating blood is different, though, than donating plasma. But yeah, plasma is necessary, too. But it is like can take a toll on your body.
Donating sperm is also good for people. So I don't want to like say you shouldn't do it if you are a sperm donor. But
how much do you get? Did you do any research on how much?
I should have looked. I don't think it's that
would be
much.
So interesting to know.
I think it's I don't think it's that much. It's not as much as if you donate an egg. I know I have had friends that also have donated their eggs, and that's a bigger deal. You have to be put under to donate your eggs, and I think you get a little bit more for that.
Okay.
So according to the New York Times, there are some laws that presumably address who can donate and where they can donate and how often they can donate. But the law is all over the place depending on where you live. Some examples provided in an article were that in the United States, there are no legal limits. The only guideline from the American Society of Reproductive Medicine says that you can only father 25 children per donor within a population of 800,000. I don't think anybody's regulating that. I can't imagine how they would. Like, unless there's some like core database and they, DNA test you. But I think you could probably
have like these little tally marks, like every single time someone picks your donation, right? They have like a little tally mark.
And then it has to be fathered. So that the like actually has to take, and then you have to like have the baby.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
In some European countries, there are laws in place like Germany, where you were, where a sperm donor may not produce more than 15 children. And in the UK, the rule is that 10 families can receive donations from a single donor and can produce unlimited children, but only 10 families. The Netherlands limits donors to fathering 25 children and prohibits them from donating to more than one clinic within the country.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say, I was like, how do they know that one person isn't going from one clinic to the other?
Well, we'll get there because I don't think they really do.
Okay. Because that literally crossed my mind like 3 minutes ago, but I was like, okay, maybe it's not like a big deal, but it could be.
Maybe you just have to be moral and not do it because you're not supposed to.
Yeah.
Internationally, there are less controls in place. There are only a handful of safeguards that prevent a sperm donor from traveling to other countries to provide donations. And a clinic can ask if a donor has donated elsewhere, but there isn't an international database that tracks it. And so, the donor can lie and say they haven't donated before. The largest sperm bank in the whole world is a Danish-based Cryos International. It ships semen to over 100 countries.
Do that many women want to have Danish babies? Like, is that what's going on here?
That's actually interesting that you say that. That's where I was going. Because yes.
Yeah. Like blonde hair, blue eyes. Is that what they're aiming for?
That's what they're aiming for. That is what they're aiming for. Can you believe that?
Yeah. I wonder if other countries are also, kind of. I would want like a Norwegian so that the kid could be like really tall.
I know.
Or Finnish.
Oh, my friend was just talking about her Estonian friend, and she was like, he's like 6 something. And I was like, well, that'd be good, but I don't know.
Yeah, give me some of those genes. I
Uh,
mean, I'm 5'2", so.
yeah. Okay, so those are the like public ones, but now there are private donations also, which is like the wild, wild west. There is no way for anyone to track who has donated to who, when, or where. There is no clinical record maintained, no database, no measures, no limits. And over the last few years, dozens of cases have been in the headlines, like this one, a Dutch fertility specialist named Dr. Jan Arbach. This doctor impregnated women who visited his clinic without their knowledge, and he had at least 68 children with these women. Another sperm donor from the Netherlands, named only as Louis, in the New York Times article I read, could have up to 200 children, and the vast majority had no idea that the others existed. And one of these other guys, his name is Ivo Van Halen, who was 36 at the time of this article, has connected with 42 of his half siblings. Can you even imagine?
Oh, so that guy that you just mentioned is the child born of...
Ivo is a child, and he like went on 23andMe or something, or Ancestry.com, and saw that he has 42 siblings.
Wow. So I'm imagining he knew
He must have known
how
that
he was conceived.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, I want to go back, and maybe we might go there, but the doctor who conceived all those kids, but no one knew, like, was he donating his own sperm? And then women would be like, hey, I want number 1 or number 375. And he was like,
no, I think he was actually just doing it without them knowing. Like, not even, I don't know, because that's not actually who we're actually talking about, but I'm sure they were saying like, I want that one.
okay, and he was just
like
doing his own.
doing his own. Right.
Okay. That is wild. But yeah, I mean, how do you know which one they actually put in? You really
you
don't.
don't know. You don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. And Ivo actually has more than those 42 or whatever that he has connected with. And here's where things can get weird. Some of Ivo's half-siblings have matched with their other half-siblings through dating apps like Tinder. One of his half-brothers swiped right on one of these apps with 4 of their half-sisters. One of the half-sisters had swiped the same way or whatever, right? I never did that. So, and they matched together, which is not really uncommon, because there's this phenomenon that like your genetics kind of, like you're sexually attracted to people that kind of look like you. If you ever notice, like some like husbands and
There's
wives
so many
look
couples
like,
that you're like, are you guys related?
Yeah, I always think it's so weird because my husband and I do not look alike. Like he's like, we don't look alike at all. Your ex-husband and you did not look alike at all. So, and I don't think I was ever attracted to somebody who looked like me, but I guess it is something that occurs.
Yeah, that is so odd.
Yeah. Now, this can be a real concern when you start talking about sperm donation and when men become serial sperm donors, like, that doctor we talked about. But their numbers, actually, doctor whatever, his numbers pale in comparison to a man who is the focus on today's episode. His name is Jonathan Jacob Meijer.
Okay.
He started donating sperm in 2007 when he was in college after learning that one of his classmates was having fertility issues. According to Jonathan, he felt inspired to help others achieve the dream of being a parent through donating his sperm. And according to Jonathan, he went to the clinic, registered as a donor, and now he lives in the Netherlands. And so there is a restriction on how many times you can donate and not donate. And you have to donate, like, you can't donate anonymously, but it's kind of weird. They don't tell the people who you actually are, right?
Oh, right. Yeah. I mean, the clinic would have to keep, because don't they have, okay, they have, I'm assuming they have to run all these tests to make sure that you don't have any type of genetic issues or diseases or something like that, right?
I'm I don't know. I think that they probably make sure you don't have like some disease that could be transferable, like
Right.
HIV or something like that. But genetically, I think you fill out a questionnaire and say, like you do at the doctor's office. Like today, I had to say, my dad has diabetes, but I mean, that's because he ate unhealthy, not because, you know.
Not because it was in in his
Yeah, like
system.
I don't
Yeah.
know. My grandma, I don't think has diabetes, and she's 80, she's turning 88. So I
Yeah.
think it's just, I think it's because he had an unhealthy lifestyle for a long time. Okay.
Hmm.
Jonathan actually discovered that there were websites where you can register as a sperm donor and work directly with the recipients rather than going through these clinics as an anonymous person, right? And Jonathan liked that idea. So I don't know when he originally started going that direction, but he did. And in 2015, a Dutch woman named Vanessa decided that she wanted to have a baby. And she was 34 and single, looking for a donor. And so she decided to go to a fertility clinic, but they're real expensive. And so Vanessa then got online and found a website called Desire for a Child that would match a potential donor with a recipient directly.
Hmm.
She thought, this looks good. And she found Jonathan's profile right away. He was a musician and he was really handsome. He had blue eyes and a full head of blonde curly hair. He, I'm telling you, he looks like a catch. He's like built, he's muscular, I think
Hmm.
he's a guy that probably every girl would be like, yeah, that one. Um,
Yeah.
she felt like Jonathan was genuine. And after they matched, Vanessa spoke to him on the phone and he was kind and well behaved, she said. And he liked music and he talked about his thoughts on life. And she said he didn't come on strong. He seemed like the boy next door. And so, bam, she was like, you're it. And he said, okay, this would be his eighth um, time he donated sperm. So
Okay.
she said, okay, how much? And he said 165 euro. Well,
That's
that's
it?
not bad. Yeah.
That's a steal. I'd be like, I need like 4 or 5, whatever donations.
And that's about $200 or, like roughly like it's almost like a 1-to-1. So it's not that it's like 165 to $200, say. And so she was like, yes. And she also did provide his travel expenses. So she tried using Jonathan's semen. It was like handed to her in a cup, and then she tried to get it up there, but it didn't work.
Wait, what? There's like no hospital involved in this?
No, this is just a website where like, hey, I'll give it
What
to
are they
you.
have like a turkey baster and they're
Yeah,
like, like what are you, what the heck? Are you
yeah.
kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding you. This
Oh my
wild,
gosh,
wild
this
west
story is
side.
getting crazy.
Yes. And he goes to her house and he's like, here you go. Here's a cup of my jizz. And it
Oh, I
doesn't
am
work out.
so like grossed out right now. Like I'm not sure why I'm grossed out. I mean, I feel like like a 12-year-old. Like, ugh. But I'm just I'm more concerned for her. Like I know you really want a baby, but like this just doesn't. None of this seems legit. Like you just have a one night stand with the guy. I guess that's
Well,
kind
you're
of what I'm
getting
thinking in my
somewhere
head.
because it didn't work with the turkey baster. So Jonathan was like, let's just try it the traditional way, Vanessa. And bow, chicka, bow, wow, it worked.
It worked.
Yeah, it
Oh, okay.
worked. Vanessa had a
Okay, good.
baby
I was like,
girl.
oh my God. I was like, was she tracking her? Like, you remember?
She
I'm
must
not
have
sure if you
been
ever did
like,
it.
I track now because I don't want to get pregnant. So I'm on
I
that
got my tubes
tracker.
tied after my third one. I was like, oh, it's
Yeah.
like weird. No. But yeah, I mean, because, I was wondering, I was like, God, I was like, can you imagine if she had sex with him at like a random time where she wasn't even like ovulating or whatever? That would suck.
Yeah, I don't know
for
how
her.
many times they had to do it, but she got pregnant. She had a baby girl. And in
Okay.
2017, she wanted to have a second baby. And so she reached out to Jonathan again. And it had been important that, her kids were full siblings. And I think that happens a lot. People that I know that
Okay.
have had sperm donors, they also have had, the same sperm donor so that their kids were full siblings. So
Oh, cool. I like that.
they went through the same process, and he, they did it the same thing again. And this time, Vanessa had a boy.
Okay.
Now, Vanessa learned some disturbing news about Jonathan before the second donation was made. Vanessa
Oh,
had
goodness.
connected with another single mom on Facebook who had also used Jonathan as a sperm donor. The other woman was a fellow single mom named Nicolette, and she told Vanessa that Jonathan had fathered at least 102 children through fertility clinics in the Netherlands.
How did she know that?
I think she did some investigating.
Okay.
Now, these clinics didn't include those private donations that he was making, like the one he did with Vanessa.
Mm-hmm.
And so Vanessa got really worried because the Netherlands is small with a lot of people living real close together. And so
Right.
the more half-sibling children her children had out there, the higher the risk of them meeting one another later on in life. So Nicolette, you just asked me how Nicolette knew. Well, she had found out through her own investigating efforts. She had noticed that both she and a coworker had children that looked alike. And after they
Oh
talked,
my
they
gosh.
learned that they both used Jonathan as the donor, which I think you think that is so crazy. How would this happen? But I'm telling you, he looks like a freaking Ken doll. So I'm thinking that he's probably, if you're just think about if you're on Tinder, I'm sure the hottest guy on Tinder gets the most clicks.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Um, so Vanessa took the information she had and she learned from Nicolette and confronted Jonathan with it. And he admitted to her that he had more than 102 children. And according to Vanessa, Jonathan told her that he had at least actually 175 kids, but it might be more. He told her, you know what? I'm just helping women make their biggest wish come true.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Vanessa took this information to the Dutch Donor Child Foundation and reported Jonathan and said, he had many, many more children than he admitted to. And when she first connected to him, she was like, I thought you had 8 kids, not 175.
80. Yeah.
Now, the foundation said they already knew about Jonathan because other mothers had already filed complaints as well. So the foundation put together an investigation and determined that he fathered 102 kids. And that is what the Ministry of Health and Welfare, and it's called Health, Welfare and Sport, had identified through the 11 clinics that he had registered with. So Jonathan had signed an agreement with each clinic that he wouldn't donate to any of the others. He fathered at least 80 more children on top of those ones that they knew about that were registered. And following that investigation in 2017, the government ordered all sperm clinics in the Netherlands to stop using Jonathan's sperm. Simultaneously, the Dutch Society for how do you say that word? Obstetrics?
Obstetricians?
Yeah. And gynecology
Gross.
barred Jonathan from ever donating sperm in the Netherlands again. And a network of moms like Vanessa and Nicolette grew more and more and more. And these couples learned that they all shared children with this dude. And as they learned, they weren't isolated to just the Netherlands. A couple in Australia had conceived 2 kids through a private online sperm bank called Cryo. Remember that one I was telling you about?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
The company itself does not have any donation limits, but claims on its site that they adhere to limits set by individual countries, but I do not think they do.
Right. If
during,
they're not, if no one
yeah,
is actually sitting there doing it, they're not gonna,
no,
they don't care. They just want the money.
right. During their search for a donor, the man the Aussie couple picked as their donor shared baby pictures of himself with them, and the couple took the images and searched through social media to see if they could locate any other children who could be the half siblings to theirs. And during that, they recognized Jonathan in the pictures and connected with this Facebook group, the group that like established to get these parents together, which is so wild. It's like so crazy how the internet can really bring like so many people together. When the couple from Australia joined the group, there were already 50 families in it, and that was just the beginning. They shared videos that Jonathan had posted to his YouTube channel. Oh, yeah, he's got a YouTube channel. Still.
What's the name of his YouTube channel? Like, what does he do?
Oh, it's like a lifestyle blogger. He posts videos from all over the world, from Canada, Australia, Hong Kong, India. He's a big traveler.
So he's a traveler. That's what he does.
I think he travels to populate the world with his fine genes.
Okay. But can I make an argument for him? I mean, I don't know where the story is going. I really don't, besides the fact that he just fathered all these kids. But I love how they are regulating this, right? You can't donate your sperm to a bank or to women. But at the end of the day, there's men who are doing this in general.
Oh, I know.
Just by being like hoochie mamas and like, who knows how many kids they're fathering because they're just like hitting it and quitting it.
Isn't Elon Musk, I think, is doing that. Right?
I have no idea.
I think he's fathering like all these kids. That's what somebody was telling me. He's got all these
No
babies.
way.
Yeah, somebody was telling me that. I mean, it could be a total conspiracy. Who knows? But that's what somebody told me recently. So I was like, what?
I'd have to look that one up.
Yeah, I will.
I'd have to look that
We'll
one
have
up.
to fact check that.
Yeah.
But isn't like Nick Cannon? He's got like 9 kids too, or something crazy.
Oh yeah, Nick Cannon has a whole bunch of kids. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So yes, you're right. There are people that just do it for the shits and giggles. But I think this guy, he really has this, he's got this complex where he really thinks that he needs to populate the world with his genes. Okay. So Jonathan, let's talk about him for a second. He has really bizarre content. These videos of him are like chopping wood, which I guess to show like he's outdoorsy.
Strong.
And in others, he's like walking around in flip-flops and eating raw steak, like fully just eating a steak raw. Disgusting. And so the Aussie couple, they had known him also. Oh, he doesn't always go by Jonathan. The Aussie couple knew him as Rudd through the donor website. And through the Facebook group, these families discussed how they connected with Jonathan, and they learned that he used different names all over the place, like Lucas or Margine. And so it kind of seems like he also went like with a name that maybe like worked with the country that he was applying to, maybe. I'm not really sure. In the Netherlands, a child, okay, here's another thing. He wanted to connect with his offspring. So that's why he decided to go into this like more wild west, because he wants to talk to them.
Because when you go into those like clinics, there's like a form you sign where like the parent can do, I mean, I think I'm thinking more of adoptions, you know, like the closed adoption versus the open. But this, I bet you they have something similar to that in this agreement.
Yeah. So in the Netherlands, a child must be 16 before the donor can meet them. In Australia, it's 18 through like the private donation sites. He was willing to have contact with the children early in their lives. And that was an appeal to some of these people because some of them were just single moms, right? And so they thought, well, that's kind of nice if the dad wants to have some sort of, you know, affiliation with their child. But I think as you see who he really is, you're like, ugh, how about not?
Yeah, that just, To me, it doesn't sound like a good idea in general.
No, I don't think so.
Because you don't even really know this person. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's one thing. I think it's one thing if you like continue to have a relationship with that person, you know, whether it's just as friends or whatever it is. But just to have him be in their life, like you don't really know what that person is doing behind the scenes. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just sounds like a red flag to me.
So this coalition of parents grew to about 50, and they called themselves the Moms on a Mission. And it was led by one of the mothers identified in court as Eva. And they filed a civil suit against Jonathan in April of 2023. The case argued that his continued donation through international channels like Cryos increased the risk to his children of incestual relationships later on in life. And the trial was held in Hague, which is one of the two capitals in the Netherlands. And the other capital is Amsterdam. And so in this lawsuit...
Wait a minute.
What?
A country has two capitals?
Yeah, I guess so. Well, we have states, right? Every state has a capital here. So.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yes. I don't mean, oh, yeah. I mean, yes. But Washington, D.C. is the capital of the United States.
Yeah, true.
Oh, so, okay. So I kind of see what you're saying. Okay.
Okay. So
they have states as well. Just smaller states that we don't all know of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Germany is the same way. Germany has states. And yeah. Okay.
Okay. So DonorKind is what they like called themselves, this organization of 50 women or 50 families, really. They accused Jonathan of being a serial donor and alleged that he had admitted to fathering more than now 550 children. The suit said that realistically, the number was between 800 and 1,000 children, and it accused Jonathan of causing tangible harm based on an increased risk of incest. And so Eva testified her decision to become a single mother at the age of 33. She told the court how she decided to find the donor directly rather than going through the clinic, because the clinics also have a long wait list, which, I mean, guys, seriously, if you need some money, yes, there's a wait list. Eva also felt it was important for her child to be able to know the donor and be free to communicate with them without restriction that the clinics had, set forth. So she connected with Jonathan through a website, a different one than we have ever even heard of, called One Wish, where he identified himself as Jacob on that site. In his profile, Eva testified that Jacob said he had been donating for 10 years, resulting in 10 children. And he also wrote that he supported the Dutch guidelines of no more than 20 to 25 children in total. And it was important for him to know his child. So Eva and Jonathan chatted, decided to meet in person. And he was the one who, she picked. It took several tries before she finally became pregnant, and she has a son with him in 2018. And when her baby was a year old, Eva discovered the truth about Jonathan, that he lied about how many kids, he had. So Eva brought the receipts with her, providing text messages to Jonathan, and he admitted he lied.
Was he having sex with all these women?
I don't know. I have a feeling that I kind of have a feeling he was. I'd bet you
he was.
He showed up and was like, here, take the straw.
He's having unprotected sex with all of these women. Like, that's what I'm thinking about. Like, I am freaking out right now.
Yeah. I bet you he was.
Well, he had to be, right? To get them pregnant.
Yes. So,
and if, the turkey baster wasn't working, that's what he probably was like, oh, it's okay. Like, this is what I've done before.
I know. I feel like the turkey baster
he just seems like such a manipulator.
Needs to be done in an office where they can really stick it up there, not just like, I don't know. I haven't done it, so I don't know. But if you have, you can tell us if it's something you can do at home. I'm not sure. His lawyer provided a suggestion to prevent any incestual relationships between his children by giving them, oh my God, this is so crazy that his attorney said this, giving them a symbol to post on their social media accounts to easily identify them. Like, what? Could you?
What?
Yes. Can you even imagine?
I would fire my attorney like right away. What?
No, he probably is like, yes, then I get to know even more of them. I mean, no way would you ever do that.
Mm. No, because I mean, and then you're putting your business out there.
Yeah. That is like no right to
Like,
privacy. Excuse me, sir. No.
no.
Um, Jonathan stated that this is an entirely new concept and it's up to us as adults to shape it. I mean, he is like a narcissistic asshole.
Yep.
The suit did not seek to punish Jonathan with prison time, but I mean, that's not civil anyways.
Right. It's
Or
a civil
pay
case.
for any damages. Their demand was just that he absolutely be prohibited from donating to any new prospective parents, and that he writes to any clinics that he has donated to before and asks them to destroy all of his samples. It did allow an exception, though, in this lawsuit that he could
For the siblings, if their parents
Yes.
want to have more.
Yeah.
I knew it.
I know. Like, it's kind of weird because you almost
It's kind of weird that
don't
you're like suing
want-
this person. Like you're so messed up, but hey, I need to keep a little vial just in case I want to
know.
have one more baby.
I know.
Oh, that sucks.
It's a
Yeah.
weird case, isn't it? It's so it makes me cringe actually just even talking about it.
Mhm.
So on Friday, April 28th in 2023, the court did reach a ruling and the judge unequivocally banned Jonathan Jacob Meijer from ever donating his sperm again. In a statement that the judge said to Jonathan, she said, "You deliberately lied about this in order to persuade the parent to take you as a donor. And all these parents are now confronted with the fact that their children in their family are part of a huge kinship with hundreds of
They're all
half
related.
siblings. They're all related, and they did not choose this." She also said, this could also have like negative psychological effects and consequences on these children. And so it's in their best interest for, this not to extend any further. The final part of her statement read, "The interest of the donor children and their parents outweigh the interest of the donor in continuing to donate his sperm to new prospective parents." And so he was ordered to halt all donations. And if he does donate again, he is going to be fined 100,000 euros per case.
But get this. What if he just like has his own website or whatever and like meets women on the side
Yeah.
and it's like, hey, and he could just pretend that they have a relationship or that they just had a one night stand because it's basically what he was doing.
True. Yeah. So in 2024, Netflix released a documentary called "The Man with 1,000 Kids." That was about Jonathan.
And that was this guy?
Yeah, that's him.
I knew that's where you were going when you started talking about him because because I've seen the documentary in passing, but I never stopped to watch it because I was just kind of like, oh, but the documentary, well, at least from like the 3 seconds that I watched, made it seem like he was traveling to meet all these kids.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So a mom in this documentary also believes that Jonathan was working with a partner named Leon, who they would mix their donations together to play this like sperm roulette game. And then the men would see who won based on who the child looked like.
Oh.
And in July, Jonathan sat down with a talk show called Loose Women, which he...
a talk show in the Netherlands?
I don't know where it's like, who has a talk show called Loose Women?
Yeah, that's not nice. Also, I wonder if there's like a different meaning to it than maybe, but I doubt it.
Yeah, I don't know. He says, and who would interview this douchebag? He says, "I don't regret
somebody
anything."
who hosts a show called Loose Women.
Exactly. He says he does not think he did anything wrong. He does not regret anything. And he still has his YouTube channel. He also denied the claim that some of the claims that were made in the documentary that he was mixing his sperm with anyone else's, but I don't know. I mean, that seems odd, but I could see him doing that.
Yeah, that just seems...
He also, it doesn't seem like he sued Netflix. So maybe what they said is right. I mean, it's still on Netflix if you want to watch it.
Oh, so he wasn't a part of the documentary?
Mm-mm.
Oh, I thought he was. Okay.
No, the parents also wanted him to stop using this YouTube platform because he he tries to get his children to watch him, and he uses his platform to influence his children in these like controversial views he has. He has these extreme roles, like he's extremely traditional in his gender roles.
I do not like this guy, and it makes me upset that these parents are saying like he is the father. Like he really isn't. Like he's a sperm donor.
Yeah, he's a sperm donor.
And
He's not
it's like
the
disturbing.
dad. You know,
Right.
like
They need to just forget about this guy and worry about their own family. But and how old are the kids at this point?
I don't know. Well, what did I tell you? He started doing this in 2015, did I say?
Okay.
In the beginning?
Mm-hmm.
Was it 2015?
Mm-hmm.
It could be 2007. I'm going to go back. It's either 2007.
You said 2007.
2007. Yeah, that's right. So what we're looking at,
he was in his 20s?
Yes.
So
2007.
He's like, okay.
Yes, in his videos. Okay, so one of his videos is titled "Blessed Are the Trad Wives," and another one is "Trad Man Power."
What does that mean? Trad?
Yeah, I think it's like his religion or something.
Oh, okay. I had no idea. Never heard of that. Yeah, that's weird that he's like trying to talk to these kids. You know what they should do? Hey, if you want to be their dad, you're going to start paying child support.
Right. Because
that's what I would do.
Like, hey, job, if you want actually to do that. Yeah.
Crazy.
Okay, so also the Dutch ruled with some moms again in February of this year that Jonathan can no longer address his children in his YouTube videos.
Okay, good.
So, yeah. And failure to comply with that is going to cost him 10,000 euros per day if he does not, because he has to like go through all his YouTube videos, take that part down where he addresses his children. Yeah. And so he's still active.
You could just file a complaint directly with YouTube. They could just shut down his whole channel.
I know. So true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He has low ratings on his YouTube channel.
How many subscribers does he have?
I don't know. But he has a lot of views because of you. So I wrote this episode
because of the
months
show
ago. Yeah. But because of the show, he's got a lot of views, which is unfortunate, because you know how that is.
Yeah, that happens.
Mm-hmm.
I won't go look. I'm sick of YouTube already. I'm just not going to look.
Yeah. He's a real piece of business.
Is he still good looking in his, what is he, like 40s, 50s now?
Yeah, he is.
40s.
So that is the case of Jonathan Meijer. I think that's how you say his last name.
Crazy. That is crazy. Yes, crazy. And he's still out there. He's still doing his thing. He might still be fathering kids. I wonder, did you ever learn, like, did he have girlfriends along the way? Like, were they okay with him doing this or?
I do not know. They for sure are not okay. Could you imagine if your boyfriend was like, yeah, I just go to I'm on a trip, sweetie pie. Gotta go
because he was having sex with these women. Yeah.
I don't know, but he's in some sort of weird cult-ish type of thing. So maybe he does have other trad people that follow this kind of philosophy of congregating in very large groups and raising lots and lots of kids together. I don't know. It's kind of like Sister Wives a little bit.
I've never watched, but I've heard.
Yeah. Part of that sounds awesome. Sister Wives thing, right? You have multiple women get to help you with your kids. Like, I was just telling Margot right now that I had to go get my daughter. It's, by the way, after 10 o'clock at night, we're recording, and after 11 her time. And I have to go pick up my daughter at some point tonight from a friend's house. And I'm like, wow, I got to share that responsibility with somebody. It sounds kind of
I know.
convenient.
I know. I know. I
at
mean,
times.
listen, I told you about my carpool. So I've been carpooling for a year now, and it's summer, and now it's usually just me and my friend. It's just two families. But now we have four families carpooling, and it is crazy, but also awesome. So this
Yeah.
week I had the responsibility, it's 3 weeks. This week I had the responsibility of doing drop off. And then, for the rest of the 2 extra weeks, I don't have to do a drop off or pick up. So it's like so nice thinking about it. Like, I'm like, oh, this is my last week. Like, and then I'll be able to stay home and not have to travel and do all this. But yeah,
Wait, you've got Karen Reads done and you don't have to carpool? You're going to have so much time on your hands.
girl, for real, I've already been I've been on Pinterest looking at, like, I'm gonna remodel my one kid's room, my middle child, because she finally got her own room after I relocated my gym, and she kind of has just like filler furniture in there because I'm like brainstorming what I want, because I'm like a DIYer, so I'm
Yeah.
gonna do her room. I'm already thinking about the closets that I'm gonna renovate. Like, girl, I have like a whole list of things that I'm gonna do.
Yeah, well, you're going to have some time for it. So good.
Yes, yes. But yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
crazy.
Well, if you want more of Margot and I, you can check out The Alternate. That podcast we do daily when there's a big trial. Brian Koberger is coming up, and we are going to dive into that one. So don't miss that. If you want to hear Margot by herself, you can go to Military Murder. She has an amazing podcast. And then if you want more of me, you can go to patreon.com/housewives of true crime. That's a good place to support us. Also, if you are a fan of The Alternate, you can also go to that Patreon too. That is just patreon.com/the alternate. And we chit chat what we really think behind the scenes there. So there's a lot of ways to support us. And we thank you very, very much for all of your support. Even if it is just giving us a rating and review, that means a lot from the bottom of our hearts.
Yes. Thank you guys so
Yeah.
much. And that was definitely an interesting story. And you know what? I appreciate that no one died. Just
Yeah, I
FYI.
know.
Just
Right. All right. Clink, clink.
clink clink.